WWE scrapped major plans for Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. In this video, I'm going to tell you all about it and why I'm a little upset by it and why I think you might be as well. And there's going to be a lot of fans who aren't going to be upset by these plans changing. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. Because Raw on Netflix has come, it is gone, we have seen it. The final conclusion, the ending, the finale of the epic Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley storyline. Something in which started out of nothing. It started from a squash. It started as something small, and it blossomed into something beautiful. It started as a simple, we need someone for Rhea to beat. And not only did it transform Rhea's career, but it put Liv Morgan on the freaking map. Now, Monday Night Raw on Netflix premiere, we saw the inevitable. We saw the expectation. We saw the title change. It was Rhea Ripley going over Liv Morgan, winning the Women's World Championship. In fact, not only did they have her win the championship, but they also had one of the biggest names in the history of the wrestling business in The Undertaker come out and endorse Rhea Ripley, making her another notch next to the status, the level, the game-changing bar of megastar. She's right there. She's so close. An epic area to be in as a WWE star, as a wrestler or something, in which everyone wants to achieve. She's almost there, coming out there posing with Rhea Ripley. And that puts a bow on this feud. This feud that has dated back since last year's WrestleMania. Coming out of WrestleMania, they needed someone for Rhea to beat. Obviously, Rhea gets injured in the backstage segment, suffering a shoulder injury and derailing their plans, and they had to pivot. They were losing Rhea, they were losing Becky Lynch, so they had to make someone, and they made someone in Liv Morgan, and I will talk about the significance of that feud in a moment. But there was a interesting report by PW Insider, and they talked about how at one point Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley was penciled in as a potential WrestleMania 41 match. However, WWE opted for Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley 3, as well as Seth Rollins versus CM Punk 1, which headlined Raw on Netflix, to go from a WrestleMania 41 match to the Raw premiere on Netflix, due to it being such a big show. Like WWE, they clearly wanted to load up the show. Clearly they did. They wanted it to make it feel like a premium live event type worthy show. And I feel like they hit that out of the park. I feel like they nailed it on the head. From big matches to big names to big moments, they absolutely delivered. And this feud with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, it was very fitting that this was the only women's match on the card because it was the most prominent and heavily featured and heavily emphasized feud on Monday Night Raw over the last year. It is very rare these days in pro wrestling for a feud, whether it's male or female, to go almost a year. But it's extremely rare to see it in a female form. And then being able to add in various characters into this feud and keep it going and keeping the roller coaster ride of emotions for fans in place is very, very impressive. And they've done just that. Now, while I would have loved to have seen Rhea Ripley beat Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania 41 in April, I am in the minority, and I have to be open about that. I have to be real with you guys about that, right? Because I've seen y'all's comments. I've seen the comments on social media, and especially on this channel, in the comments of my videos. I've seen that people are starting to get tired, or were starting to get tired, of the Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley feud. I get it. I mean, it's almost been going on a year, and they've had to drag it out. In this feud alone, Rhea Ripley has gotten injured twice. She suffered a shoulder injury and a broken orbital bone, okay? So they had to extend this thing for so long. I don't think it had the legs to make it a few more months. I think it would have gotten so watered down, it would have got so stretched out. Think of like a piece of gum, right? The more you stretch it in the middle, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner to the point where you can poke your finger through it. I think that would have happened with this feud. And therefore, WWE scrapping these major plans, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley 3 for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania 41, yeah, they made the right choice. They made the right choice. And think about it like this. they didn't blow this feud off on a random episode of Monday Night Raw. They didn't blow this feud off at a B-level type premium live event. Okay, they didn't even blow it off at Saturday Night's Main Event, which is supposed to be a big time deal, although I think that's going to get watered down over time. They didn't blow it off at the Royal Rumble, where it would have been overshadowed by the Royal Rumble matches itself, right? They opted, okay, we can't do this at WrestleMania. What is the second biggest stage in which we can do? Okay, that's Raw on Netflix, right? It's the biggest episode of Monday Night Raw probably since 2020 or 2012 when they went to 3 hours, right? Or the Raw 30th anniversary in January of 2023. It's one of the biggest episodes since probably SmackDown on Fox premiere in terms of just eyeballs on the product. It's also the only match involving women on this show, in which only had a handful of matches that were all premium live event type worthy matches. That's pretty good, right? Like, if you can't get the WrestleMania match, if you're Liv Morgan, if you're Rhea Ripley, or if you're fans of these two and this feud, that's a pretty good second place, right? Like, I would be very happy with that if I'm them. And as a Liv Morgan fan, as a Rhea Ripley fan, as someone who has talked about this feud, talked about these two stars ad nauseum for the last year, basically. Even going back to Liv Morgan's return at the Women's Royal Rumble match in January of 2024, her declaring the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour, setting her eyes and her sights set on Rhea Ripley. I've literally talked about this feud for almost a year. They did it so well, right? All the adversity, all the ups, all the downs, all the roller coasters of emotions. They absolutely crushed it. They nailed it. They did exactly what they needed to do, and they did it in a big-time way. And I love how they ended it. I love the fact that Rhea Ripley finally got her comeuppance. I love the fact that Liv Morgan went out as Women's World Champion in a strong fashion, in a strong way, as a fighting champion, trying to get one over on the babyface, right? With outside interference with Dominic Mysterio and Raquel Rodriguez and everything alike. So if you look at it like that, there's not much more than you could have asked out of this feud. There's not much more you could have asked from Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. There's not much more you could have asked from WWE when it comes to booking this feud over the last year and booking the conclusion, the storyline finish, the finale, if you will, of Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. This will go down as one of the funnest programs and the funnest times of my life when it comes to talking about pro wrestling. I love this feud, and I hope you guys did as well. Let me know in the comments here below. How do you think they should have finished it?